Here are some reminders to help you get the most out of your DIVES CD lessons. First, work the problems with me. Work every single problem that I work and take notes on everything that I write on the board. One thing I encourage you to do is on the first practice problem, work that one with me, but then for the second and subsequent ones, pause the CD, try to work the problem on your own, then fast forward to the answer. If you got it right, great, you can move on to the next one. If you got it wrong, rewind the CD, look at how to solve the problem, and figure out how to do it correctly. Next, anytime you need to, pause and rewind the CD until you understand that particular concept. The ability to pause and rewind so easily is what makes DIVES CD lessons so much better than a live classroom lecture, so make sure and take advantage of that technology. Next, remember the purpose of math is to teach you to think and to solve problems, to effectively and efficiently think and solve problems. In the lower math levels, there's lots of mental math. In the upper levels especially, this is the most important purpose of math, is to teach you to think and to solve problems. Next, do all of the problems in the problem sets. It depends on the course that you're doing, but typically you'll do 3 to 5 problem sets a week, so that means 3 to 5 CD lessons plus a test. Next, work the homework problems and your test problems too. Work those vertically. Split your paper in two and work them vertically. And of course, make sure you show your work on your problems too. As you work them vertically, write each step down and write each subsequent step underneath the previous one. And this will help you sometimes to recognize patterns a little bit easier and help you solve the problem better. Also, use a calculator sparingly, only for geometry problems and some word problems. Don't use it for Math 7-6 or below that for any of that. Algebra half and up, use it sparingly. And lastly, have a good attitude. Every day you do school, you have a choice to make. It is your personal choice to have a good attitude, work hard, do your best, or to be lazy, complain, whine, and have a bad attitude. So choose right now to have a good attitude. Dive in, take advantage of this CD lesson, and do your best to learn the math that you're going to learn today. In Lesson 90, we'll be learning about doing some word problems that have two statements of equality. These problems will just be two equation and two unknown problems. So there will be two statements of equality, or two equations that you can set up based on what they give you in the word problem. So look at practice problem A. It says the sum of two numbers is 57. Their difference is 23. Find the numbers. Okay, so we have two equations there. We have two unknowns. So that's why we have to have two equations to solve it. We want to find these numbers. Their sum is 57. So let's just say that one of them is larger than the other one. And we'll just say L for larger plus S for the smaller one equals 57. Their difference is 23. So we'll say the large one minus the smaller one equals 23. So we have two equations there and two unknowns. Now, hopefully you can see the easiest way to solve this would just be to do elimination. We could add those two equations together and the s's would cancel. And so we'll do that, and we end up with 80. 2L equals 80. So L, therefore, is 40. And to figure out what the smaller one is, you can just do that in your head, or you can just think 40 plus S equals 57. Just substitute 40 back into that first equation. Subtract 40 from both sides, and you would get S is equal to 17. So we'll say S equals 17. L is 40, and S is 17. A trick on doing these problems is just to use some good descriptive variables. When you're talking about a difference of two numbers, that means that one of them is larger than the other one. So that's a good descriptive variable. L for larger, S for smaller. Let's do one more. Let's read this problem through first. The number of puffins on the cliff exceeded the number of murres by 19. If there were 47 birds on the cliff, how many were puffins and how many were murres? So we have two unknowns we're trying to figure out here, the number of puffins and the number of murres. So that means we need two equations. It says that the number of puffins on the cliff exceeded the number of murres by 19. So that means the number of puffins was equal to the number of murres plus 19. Because if there was one murre, that means that there were 20 puffins because the number of puffins exceeded the number of murres by 19. So that's how we would set up that first equation, P equals M plus 19. Now there were 47 birds on the cliff, so there's a total puffins plus murres equals 47. So now we have two equations with two unknowns. Easiest thing to do would just be to take that top equation, M plus 19, and substitute it in for P on the bottom equation. So we'll have M plus 19 plus M is equal to 47. Add like terms, 2M plus 19 is equal to 47. Subtract 19 from both sides, and we'll end up with a 2M on the left, and then 47 minus 19 would equal 28. And so M, divide both sides by 2, M would equal 14. So there are 14 murres, and the number of puffins then would equal 19 plus 14, so that would be 33. That totals back up to 47. Something to keep in mind, anytime you have a word problem where you have two variables in it, you're pretty much always going to have to set up two equations to solve it. Even though maybe they only ask you to find one of the unknown values, you still need two equations, and because you have two variables in the problem. Okay, well, you're done with lesson 90. You're about 3/4 of the way through the book now. And hopefully you aren't wondering, why am I doing a problem with puffins and murres and adding them up? When am I ever going to use that again? Well, you've got to remember, it's not about adding puffins and murres up. It's about the thinking and problem-solving skills. Being able to take some words, turn those into an algebraic expression, and do some exact steps to get a correct answer. The application to solving a problem like the one you just did is developing good problem-solving skills in life. In life, you'll be given sets of information. You have to decide, what am I going to do with that information? So think of ways to apply your problem-solving skills that you're learning in algebra, in other classes, in science. Science is a really, really big place where you apply math. You are given information and you have to set up an equation or solve an equation sometimes. So math is a really, really important part of science. And then in life, like in a sport that you like to play, there's a best way to hit a baseball and a worst way to hit a baseball, and you want to figure out the best, most efficient way that you can hit a baseball. Every time you step up to the plate to bat, it's a problem. You've got a certain pitcher who's pitching at certain speeds, and you've got a certain bat that you're using. The dirt may be muddy or hard or soft or just different things. You've got all this information, and you need to combine it all and figure out the best solution to maximize your abilities. So find places to apply the problem-solving skills that you're learning in math. Find places in your life to apply those. Work hard on this last 1/4 of the book, and hope you can do well on it.